Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, hi again. So this is my channel. I love to make all kinds of DIYs on a budget. I love doing Dollar Tree DIYs. I also love to do thrift flips, and I also love to make wreaths. So if you like what you see here, you know what to do. Hit that red subscribe button. I would love to have you. Also leave me a comment. I love to hear what you guys think, and give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Pinterest. And I also have a wreath shop. It's called Krista's Wreath Designs. It's an Esty Shop. I will have that link down below. Today is all about Stencil It Up. We're using stencils. Our host is CJ, and I am the co-host, and so is LaPasha. So let's get into DIY number one, and we'll get into more of that in a minute. So the first DIY, I'm using these two boards from the Dollar Tree, those two USA signs, and I'm going to be using my Chocateur flag that I just got stencil, and I'm going to be using some red paste and some white paste. And I'm going to be using my little squeegees to put it on with. And first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the little hangers that are on these signs. And what's next is we are going to fill them holes, because at the top you have those little holes. So I used my little, oh gosh, I don't even know what you call this stuff. But I used it to fill the holes. And it works out perfectly. And I just let it dry for a little bit. I just do something else and I let it dry for a little bit. And then once it's dry, I just sand it smooth, and then the holes aren't there anymore. Next, I'm taking the three jumbo popsicle sticks, and I'm going to put these signs together by using those sticks. So I make sure they're all nice and even, and then I just put my popsicle sticks on each end and one in the center, and this is what keeps the sign together. And next, then we are going to turn it over, and I am going to paint the other side. So what I end up using for paint is I went with this Truffle by Waverly first, and that's the first coat I put down. And I love doing this kind of technique with the Truffle because it makes it look kind of like a worn rustic look. So once I get the Truffle all down, and I only used one coat, I didn't do two coats, I didn't need to. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. So it's like a creamy white, and I'm going to go around the edges first with my brush to give it like that distressed look on the edges, and then I'm going to go over the whole top of our sign with it. And I start out with light, dry brushing lightly, and then I go in darker and darker and darker with each coat. So just till I get it the way that I like it, and it's going to look, you're going to see a lot more of the cream color than you will the actual truffle color. But you'll see some of it peeking through, and it looks really cool. So I really love doing this technique, and I love these colors together. It just works out so well. It's the kind of stuff I like, the rustic look. So once I get that coat on, and I don't show you me painting the whole thing, so you get it to your liking. So then once it's done, I put my little stencil down, but first I fuzzed it with that mat on the right hand side. I don't know what happened to that footage, so I apologize, but fuzzing it just makes it not stick as much, doesn't make the stencil as sticky, and then you'll be able to move it around, and you won't have to worry about pulling any of your paste up, and it also won't pull up any of your paint or anything that you have on your surface. So I went in with the blue color first, that's Colonial Blue, and then I came in with the red color, which is just red, and I did the rest of the flag in that. Now this ends up looking so good, you guys. It turned out so gorgeous. I'm thinking about doing another one, only a little bit different, and I'll probably do it for the 4th of July. But this just turned out so amazing, and I absolutely love it. I have it up in my house, and it just looks really great. So I just use my little squeegee to put the paint through. It's really simple, and I'm going to have this, look at that. Oh my God, gorgeous. I love it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two red and blue. This is just jute twine. It's cotton twine, and I got it a long time ago. I don't even remember, but I got both of these. I think they were at Dollar Tree when they had the cotton twine. And I'm just going to stick it to the back, okay, in the center, and then I'm just going to keep wrapping it on each end. So that's what I do for both sides of the sign. And that's just to kind of fill up that space that you see on both sides and just give it another little extra decorative touch. It makes it look really cool, and I absolutely love it. And then I just cut it off, and then I just tied another knot to make sure that my string would stay together, and I glued that to the back of my sign as well. But I wanted to let you know that I am a chalk couture designer, and so I get a monthly, you get a monthly stencil, and if you are a designer, and you also get a kit in the beginning when you sign up. And it's really cool because you get some of these colors, and you also get, some stencils to get you started. And then you can either do it every month, or you could just buy things from the store. And I'm going to have that link and all the information in my description box below. So if you're interested in purchasing any of the paste or the stencils, or you want to become a designer, that's great. If you don't want to become a designer, that's fine too. You could just, maybe want to buy something that you liked in the video, or just go on the website and see if you like any of their stencils that they have, because they do have all kinds of stencils, guys. So now I decided to take these stars. Now I'm just showing you, I use a lot of these throughout the video, so I showed you how I did it. So I have a large, medium, and small stars that come in a packet that I got from the Hobby Lobby. And I painted them white first with my white chalk paint. And then you saw that these are napkins from Hobby Lobby. Now, these are the ones I had from last year. They have them out again this year, but I like them because they've got that rustic flag on them. So what I did is I'm going to Mod Podge the napkin onto each one of these stars, and I'm going to use them for all my projects. So I only show you me doing a couple of them because I did use like 4 or 5 of them, I believe, in this video. So I just showed you how I did this. So I put the Mod Podge on after my paint dried, and then you're just going to smooth out the napkin on top. And then I'm going to take one of my little thin paintbrushes, and I'm going to just dip it in water, and I'm just going to go around the star. And I was just going to cut it with my scissors, but then I decided to do that instead because it was just much easier to get around the star. So I just wet it just a little bit, my brush, and I'm just going to go around, and then it's easier to tear it after the napkin's wet. And it won't tear like up on where your napkin is on the star. So I just found it much simpler to do it this way. But you do you. This was just easier for me. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lighter, and I'm going to burn the edges. And it's really cool because when you have Mod Podge, it only burns off the excess, and it stops when it gets to the actual thing that you Mod Podge, the item that you're Mod Podging. So it's really super cool technique. I learned it from a lot of crafters on YouTube. So just be very careful when you use a lighter, of course. And then I'm going to do the star portion of the flag on this other star. And I'm going to show you one more time what I did. And same technique, same thing. I'm just going around it with my little paintbrush with water on it just to tear it apart, to tear it away from it. And then I'm just going to use my little lighter, and I'm just going to go around. But be very careful, you guys, okay? I'm not trying to teach you how to play with a lighter, but this is like really satisfying. I loved doing this. It was it just worked out so well. So I found this much easier than trying to sand it. So now I'm going to use 2 of those stars, 2 small ones that I Mod Podged with the napkin, and I'm going to use them on each side, one on the top and one on the bottom, and I'm just going to glue them down. And that's it for this DIY. Super, super easy. I mean, the stencil did most of the work, right? And I love how these stencils from Jar look rustic and have kind of like that fading to them, and it just makes it look so cool. Look at that. I love it, you guys. It came out so cool. So here is your close-up. But you guys got to let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, so today is all about stenciling it up. Like I said, CJ is our host, and me and LaPasha are the co-hosts. There's a huge playlist. Please check everyone out. Plus, I will have the co-host and host down there as well. Check everybody out, you guys. Okay, so next, I am going to use this wooden star that I got from the Target dollar spot. I believe it was $3. And I was going to use that stencil, but I ended up changing my mind and using a different stencil. So first thing I did is I taped the inside so that I could go around the edges with my antique wax. So I went all around the edges and with the whole thing with the antique wax. And then once I got that all painted, then what I did is I came in with my paper towel and I just, rubbed it and took most of the excess of the antique wax off. So it just, because it's like a stain, so you don't want to leave clumps of it. It'll be really sticky. So there it is, all done after I take the tape off. And now I'm going to go in with my red by Waverly. This is Lager, I think. Lacquer. And it's a deeper, richer red than the crimson, where the crimson's more like a bright red. This red is a little bit more rustic, I guess, deeper. I don't know. And I went with my thin paintbrush first because I wanted to get around those corners of the star and I didn't want to go over it. So then I went in with, once I got all the edges, I went in with my bigger paintbrush and I painted the rest of it with the red. So I painted the whole inside with that color. And then I changed my mind, like I said, with this stencil. I was going to do that stencil with the stars and it has like all the stuff. But then I thought I'd rather put a stain in the middle. So I had this stencil and I'm doing the same thing. So now remember, we're going to fuzz it because we don't want to be too sticky because then it could pull up our paint. So we want to make sure that, it's not real sticky. But sticky enough where you can, put your paste through it and it stays put on your surface. And then what I did is I came in with my little squeegee and I went over this, and this one says Stars and Stripes Forever. And I thought that was a really nice saying, and I like how it's on a star. So I thought that this was a really cool thing to do instead of the other one. But don't worry, I'm going to be using that other one too. Not in this video, but in a future video, you'll see it. And I just did the whole thing in white. And then I love peeling these up. Look at, you guys, I just love that. Okay, so then I took one of these picks that I had from Hobby Lobby that I bought last year, but they have them this year too. And one of these messy bows that I made with my red, white, and blue ribbons that I have. Some are from Dollar Tree, some are from Hobby Lobby. And I just decided to make it a little bit more decor on the top of the star. So I glued down these rustic looking stars that were on that pick, and then I glued down my little bow, and now I'm going to put one of the other stars on the middle of my bow. And that's it, you guys. Super easy. And here it is. See how you could see like the fading in the wording? I love that. So now on to DIY number 3. Now this DIY, I took one of these little stars that are chalkboard star. I'm going to use that stencil, and I'm going to use this scrapbooking paper from Hobby Lobby, and then one of those picture frames that you see right there. So these were really easy to pop out from the Dollar Tree. They just pop right out, so easy. So I just popped it out, took that little face off, and now I'm going to trace it, onto the scrapbooking paper, and then I'm going to cut it out. And that's what we're going to use as our background for our little plaque that we're making. And my pencil kept breaking, so I used a different one. And there we go. And now I'm just going to cut it out like so. And there it is all cut out. And now I'm going to use my glue stick. I don't use Mod Podge for this. I didn't feel it was necessary. My glue stick works just fine. So to have it, stick down. So I just use that. And no bubbles, no nothing. That's what I like about it. Nice and smooth. And it went out real nicely. And then once I got it all stuck down nice, then I glued, because this has a little edge on the inside of it where you put the frame back in. So I just put a little hot glue, turned it around, and popped it in. And now it's glued, so there you go. And it's not gonna go anywhere. And then I'm going to take the star and I'm going to cover it with white chalk paint. So yes, I am. I'm not going to use it as a chalkboard, but we're going to put chalk paste on it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And once I did that white, then I went around with my little brush and I just dry brushed the edges to kind of like bring out the star a little bit more. And then I go over the top of it, dry brushing it with the antique wax as well, to give it that rustic look, because everything's kind of like going together here, as you could tell. And now I'm going to go on my other brush, which is a little bit bigger, my stencil brush, and I'm just going to brush over it very lightly with the antique wax to give it that rustic look. And then I am going to fuzz my stencil like you've been seeing me do. And I'm going to get the little bit of sticky off of it. And then I'm going to put it down over my star. And once I get it the way I want it, I just press it down. And now I'm going to use my blue. This is the Colonial Blue chalk paste. And I am going to smooth it out over the top of my stencil. And this came out super cute. And this was so easy, you guys. I love all these stencils. I love Chalk Couture. It is my favorite. And there it is. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. And now I'm just going to use a couple pieces of cardboard that I just cut into like squares. This is just like leftover cardboard from a box. And I just use that to kind of raise up my star. And then I just put it in the center. And now we're going to put glue on top of that. And then we're going to stick our star on it. Super, super easy. And it came out so, so cute. So then I just took some of this straw. I had red and I had the neutral color. And I just took one of them stars and I made a little loop. And then put it on each side and just stuck it down in the corner. And isn't that cool? I love it, you guys. It came out so cute. So this is the last DIY, number 4. So this one I'm taking the mason jar, and that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm taking this backing from one of my picture frames that I had, and then some of those stars again. And now we're going to paint the top part of this mason jar white, because I thought I was going to use that ribbon you saw in the beginning, the metal ribbon that you could get at the Dollar Tree, but I ended up changing my mind, which you'll see in a minute. And then we're going to use, this is the stencil we're using. This is also part of the USA stuff, that stencils that I got from Chalk Couture, so the Patriotic ones. So now what I did is I put it on top. Now these are supposed to be like the stripes of the flag, right? So I'm going in with the white and the red, and I'm going to do every other one, just like on the flag. Okay, so that's what I did with this one, and it looks super cute because it looks like, you know, the regular mason jars that you buy, and then it has the stripes, right? So kind of the same idea here. And then I go in with the red, and I do the other ones in the red. And the top part, it's okay that it's white, because even though I didn't use the ribbon that you're about to see, I come in with a different ribbon, and it worked out just fine. But in one of my other videos, I did use the metal ribbon for, like, I used one of these mason jars and I made for my lemon decor. I did a lemon one, and I did use it for that video, and it came out super cute too. So those come in really handy, those metal ribbons that they had at the Dollar Tree. I don't know if you can still get them, but when I saw them, I grabbed them. And now we're going to take the stencil off, and there it is. I love it. So now I decided to come in with this star ribbon, which I thought went much better. So I glued it to the top and the bottom of the mason jar. I glued it down so that it was nice and tight on the top. And then I just took the excess in the back and just glued it down. I just kind of like scrunched it up, put a big hopping glue in the back, and just glued it down. Super easy. And then after we do that, next you're gonna see me, I'm gonna come in with some stuff to put in our mason jar, right? So I used that same pick that you saw me use in the other one, and I'm going to cut some more pieces off. So I decided to use the flag in this one, and I decided to use some of the stars that were on the pick, and then I just glued them down and put a piece of felt on the back, and that helps keep them down. Super easy. And then I just cut off the excess, and there it is with them inside. But we're not done yet. So now we're going to do the USA with these letters from the Dollar Tree, those alphabet wooden letters you could get. And I do one in red and one in white and one in blue. Now I'm upset because I meant to do the U in red, the S in white, and the A in blue, and I did it backwards. So it's okay though, right? It'll be our little secret. And but every time I look at the jar now, I'm like, oh my God, Krista, you're supposed to do red, white, and blue. And I ended up doing red, blue, and white. But that's okay, right? It's still the same. So then I dry brushed it, of course, with the antique wax, because everything's got to be the same, you know. I'm using that rustic. And then I did the top of the jar where you could see a little bit of the white peeking out that I painted. I did that also with the antique wax. And then I brushed over the stripes too with the antique wax. So everything is all nice and rustic looking. And I love that. I love the rustic look. I know I keep saying that, but I really do. And then I just glued down my USA on the top of the jar, on top of the mason jar. And once I got those glued down, then I decided to come in with more stuff. So you guys, I just kept going. Once I get started, it's like, okay, I'm starting with this, but then I always change my mind. So you guys got to let me know if you do that too, but I always do. And then I'm putting on the backing, remember, because this is what's going to help it stand up. So never get rid of your backings of your little, oh my God, picture frames or whatever you have. Because if you have these, this comes in handy for stuff like this. And now it's just going to stand up. And then I came in with this. So I came in with those red, white, and blue, those little, I don't know what you call them, little beads that are on a, you know, on a pick. And I used that and I stuck that on as well. So I ended up having to glue another piece of felt in the back to keep that down. But that's okay, because nobody sees it in the back at my house, so it's all right. And I stuck that down, and I just felt like I needed more in, like, popping out of the mason jar. It just felt too empty to me, and I like everything to be quite full. It's a bad habit of mine. And there it is, all done. So don't forget to go check everybody out, you guys. The playlist will be down below. Everybody's YouTube channels will be down there. Check everything out, and I'll see you guys again soon. And remember, stay crafty. Bye.